All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 5 Minutes of Math. This is the homework for the evening of February 1st, 2018. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in again this evening. I'm glad you're here, and let's go ahead and get started. And we're looking again at word problems, and this time it's inequalities with word problems. So our first one is number 21. It will cost no more than $150. So we've got something that's less than or equal to 150. And this is where we start our problem. Now we know that this is a computer repair problem, so the cost of parts is $80. So 80 plus something is less than or equal to 150. The hourly rate is $25 per hour. So this is 25H. So 80 plus 25H is less than or equal to 150. All right, so now we subtract not 8, but 80 from both sides. So we subtract 80 from both. Now I meant to write 8, I don't know where the 0 went. So 80 minus 80 cancels out, plus 25H is less than 150 minus 80, and that's 25H is less than or equal to 70. And now we have the division property of equality, so just divide both sides by 25, and we have H is less than or equal to 2.8 hours. Now I know that that's 2 hours 48 minutes, but how did I figure that part out? Well, do you all remember proportions? I do. So let's make a proportion. We know that the decimal portion of this thing is 2.8 or 8/10, 2 and 8/10. So how does 8/10 compare to x over 60? Cross multiply. X times 60 is 480 equals 10x. Divide both sides by 10, and we have 48 equals to x. And that's how I know that 2.8 is 2 hours and 48 minutes. All right, and all I did was convert the decimal portion of that thing to minutes, okay, by forming a proportion. And just remember that x over 60 comes from the fact that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. That's where that comes from. All right, going on to number 22. So now if we look at number 22, we have a series of classes, 5 classes, and they're going to each donate a certain number of items. And the school would like to have an average donation of. And before we go any further, remember what an average is. It's the sum of all the donation divided by the number of donations. So in other words, the number of classes that are making donations. So we have 58 items plus 80 items plus 64 items plus 90 items. And we don't know what that 5th class is going to donate, but we do know that to form an average, we add them all up and divide by 5. And we know that the school wants an average donation of at least 72 items per class. So how do we do that? We add all of our donations up and divide by 5. And that's going to be greater than or equal to the number 72. And that is where we start with this proportion. Now, the next step that we take is to realize that we don't know everything. So we're going to combine as many like terms as we can. And all that means is we're going to add up our numbers on the top. See that? See what we have in yellow? 58 plus 80 plus 64 plus 90 plus x divided by 5 is greater than or equal to 72. So if we combine our like terms, what we end up with is 292. Now the next thing we have to do is get rid of that denominator. We have 292 plus x divided by 5. Let's multiply both sides by 5, and that's what I'm doing with that red 5. So we multiply the left side by 5. We end up with 292 plus x is greater than 72, or is greater than or equal to 72 times 5, which is 360. Now we've got a simple problem to solve. So 292 plus x is greater than or equal to 360. Just subtract 292 from both sides. All right, and that's the subtraction property of equality. I didn't write that down, but that's what we're doing. We also call that additive inverse because the 292s cancel out. And we have x is greater than 360 minus 292, which is 68. And what that tells us is the other homeroom must donate at least 68 items for all 5 classes to have an average of at least 72 items per class. That's that, and that's the name of the game. You will see that problem again on someone's standardized test. They love that one. The last thing here is a little bit of geometry, and they're looking at perimeter, the perimeter of a triangle. So it's the sum, it's the distance around a figure. It's the sum of the lengths of each side of a closed shape or a polygon. It's just the distance around a figure. Same thing we said in 2nd grade. So what does that problem look like if we were to draw a simple triangle. So we have a triangle there, 4 plus looks like 8 and 11. 4 plus 8 and 11, and that's 23 centimeters. And we're not talking about Pythagorean theorem or nothing like that. This is just any old triangle, and that's the distance around it. So if we add up all the sides in a simple triangle, like the ones you all were solving back in 3rd grade, when you get to algebra, it's the same concept. We're just throwing in a few variables. So we have x plus 4 as one side, 4x minus 8 as your second side, and 2x plus 8 as your third side. And we know the perimeter is at least 88. That means it's greater than or equal to 88. X plus 4 plus 4x minus 8 plus 2x plus 8 is greater than 88. So here's where we begin to actually solve the problem. Now, if we're looking at this, what we have to do next is to combine all our like terms. So we're going to combine our numbers, and I put those in purple, and we combine our variables. I put those in red. Now, I know last time I took out all the color coding. I put it back for this one. So yeah, every now and then I'm going to switch back and forth just to see if you guys are paying attention. So right here, put all the x's together, you get 1x plus 4x plus 2x. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. X plus 4. Because that positive 8 and negative 8 cancel each other out. So we have 7x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 88. What do we do next? Subtract 4 from both sides. That's the subtraction property of inequality. So 7x plus 4 minus 4 is just 7x. 88 minus 4 is 84. 7x is greater than or equal to 84. The next step we're going to take is, you probably guessed it by now, the divide. We're going to use the division property of inequality, divide both sides by 7. 7x divided by 7 is just x. 84 divided by 7 is 12. So we have x is greater than or equal to 12. Now, do we stop here? And I know you've seen that there's a few more boxes here. Yes and no. We have an answer. We have our x, but what we don't actually have are the lengths of our sides. So we got to fill in our sides using substitution, something we've been doing for a long time. Side 1 is just x plus 4, and that's 12 plus 4 is 16. So the length of side 1 is not just 12, it's 12 plus 4. And side 2, likewise, is 2x plus 8. So side 2 is not just 12, it's 2 times 12, which is 24. 24 plus 8 is 32. So we have 16 plus 32. And now we can look at side 3. Side 3 is 4x minus 8. So when we substitute for that, we go 4 times 12, which is 48, minus 8 is going to be 40. So side 3 is 40. Now, if you add up all three of those numbers, you actually do get 88. You actually do get 88. And so when you check a problem like this and it gives you little expressions where you have to substitute, you can't just go, okay, here's a triangle, 12 plus 12 plus 12, because then you get 36 and you start to wonder, well, did I do something wrong? You have to substitute, so you have 16 plus 32 plus 40 equals 88. All right, if you hung with us this long, listen to the whole thing. I'm proud of you. Thank you for working through it. And I will talk to you all in 24 hours. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.